Now, this is Jarbon from the Predatory Lending Network talking to you. Now, we're here at Anime Expo 2011. Now, one of the big key issues that we have among young people today is unemployment. And the youth have a higher unemployment rate than other folks throughout the galaxy of other age groups. Now, I'm here with some young people today asking about the tough times that the young people today are having finding work and stuff like that. Now, how is it for you guys finding work and employment these days in this current environment?
Well, for me, since I recently quit and I haven't found a job yet, it's been like maybe a few months, but it's really competitive. Like, look for a lot of things, and you know, if you just get out of school, it's kind of hard to find a job right away.
And you, how is your time finding work these days?
Well, I just graduated school just almost less than a month ago, actually, and I haven't quite looked for a job yet, but you know, knowing a lot of my friends, they've been having trouble trying to find, you know, work and everything, and I guess like what she said, you know, when you're a student and you just got out of school, you know, you have a lot of debt. It's hard to pay. It's hard to find a good stable job in this economy, especially in California, where you know there's a lot of budget problems. You know, the businesses are leaving the state for other states. You know, kind of hurts our ability to find jobs.
Now, how's the various employment situations with you?
Yeah, well, I'm still in college at the moment, so I can only be looking for part-time jobs. And right now, when you do find a job, the hours are like awful. Like, they give you maybe like 10 hours a week or even less sometimes. And I can't really do much with that, especially with my school schedule and my studies. I'm trying to cram work into it too. It's really difficult.
Now, one of the key questions that we have is with predatory financing and taking advantage of student loans. Now, how has the student loan market been for you? Because we predatory lenders surely like to take advantage of students. How has that been for you?
I was actually enrolled at USC for a semester, and I just thought like I could breeze by school with just like a bunch of loans. But then like when I read the fine print and when I did my research, like lenders like Sallie Mae, they charge a lot. And when I think about it, like I'm an art major, when I thought about it, I was like, man, like I want to go to like USC, a nice school, but then like if I have to pay that loan off for the rest of my life just for an art major, like just for like an art degree that I could probably get at like a Cal State or something, then like it wasn't worth it for me, so I had to leave, you know. But it was a great school. I wish I didn't have to.
Now, what's the student loan market like for you?
Well, since I finished school, I actually took out loans when I was going through school, and like to be honest, I feel like it's really cost of going to school here has been really tough. You know, I've been paying, it's like, I'm looking at like tens of thousands of dollars in loans and debt that I need to pay off. And it's kind of, like we talked about before, with the economy being so bad and, the job market so tough, it's hard for somebody like just out of college to find, to find a way to pay off these loans. And the same thing, like these lenders, I feel like the lenders are kind of like putting a lot of pressure on young people just so they can go through school to even find we're supposed to be in college to find, to get the skills necessary to get a good job. But, we finish school, we're in debt, and, the job market is so, weak, or it's so hard to get jobs. It kind of puts a lot of pressure on us as students or young people.
And the student loan market for you?
Yeah, actually my brother just he graduated a couple years ago, and so we're dealing exactly with that problem, paying off his student loans. And right now I'm having issues transferring to UCLA because my parents know that we might not be able to afford it since we have to pay off my brother's student loans first, and we probably can't go through the same thing with me, so it just makes things more difficult.
Now, what can we do to help this situation for students throughout the galaxy of all ages? Because I know we concentrate on educating our youth, but not necessarily the older workers. What can we do to help students of all ages?
Well, first off, they need to stop raising the price of tuitions, Like, it used to be that like anyone could get into community college, but now it's like it's getting more and more expensive, and it just makes trying to find work like more appealing, like just going out there trying to look for a job instead of like going to school. I know a lot of intelligent people that like they just don't want to go to school because it's just so expensive. They just rather just like try to find a job somewhere,
Well, in my opinion, I think that they have to make the cost of going to school cheaper. I think, you know, people, you know, I think going to school right now, going to a 4-year college is way too expensive, you know. And more importantly, I think that the politicians, you know, in the state or in Washington need to actually pay more attention to how they're spending this money. You know, I feel like, you know, they're not concentrating enough on how to fix the economy. They're spending money on wasteful, you know, spending in all sorts of random areas. And, you know, we're fighting, you know, wars in other countries right now, and those cost money. You know, they need to be spending money helping us people here in the United States more than, you know, waging other, you know, important things.
So we could be like Japan.
Yeah, I totally understand what he's saying. Like, we're spending money overseas and everything, when what about their people here in our country? Like, we need our education. We're the future. Like, they need to spend more time on us so that when our generation grows up, we can do the same for the next generation.
Now, one criticism that I've been talking to several people here today, and they say that their typical loan debts are $30,000, $50,000, some even $100,000 or more. But the thing is, with student loans, you can never get those loans forgiven or declare bankruptcy. You can't get out of those. But yet, if you take that same $30,000 to $50,000 and you, right out of high school, start a small business, if you fail, anywhere from 3 to 7 years later, you can declare bankruptcy, and you know, you can do this whole thing all over again and start a new business. You've seen that with several business people. You know, your most successful people, you know, Microsoft, Bill Gates, the Google guys, Richard Branson. I mean, you see a major amount of the most successful people in the world these days, you know, Facebook, are all college dropouts. Is college actually something worth the money and worth paying for? Or should you actually look at using that same money to start your own business?
Well, it'd be nice if everyone had that golden idea, the golden ticket that will like make them like rich, like, you know, Bill Gates and whatnot. But I guess for other people, like, school is their only option, you know. I mean, I think, like, I heard of scholarships where like students get paid to get to leave school and like invest in in their own business for their own ideas, and I think that's great. But like, how about the rest of us, you know? Like, we need to go to school, I mean, if we want a future, or else we'll just end up working at McDonald's, you know?
Well, I think that going to school, going to college does have, you know, its benefits. I think that, you know, I mean, if you want to take money and start your own business, I think people, if you really think that you have a great idea, I think people should just go ahead and do it. But, you know, there's a lot of people like myself, you know, I don't know what I wanted to do in high school, but, you know, I found out what I loved, what I wanted to do when I went to 4-year college. I graduated, I got my bachelor's degree. You know, I'm thinking of going on to graduate school to get a master's degree. So, you know, I think that, you know, college is not, you know, something that you can, you know, you don't have to do. But I mean, I'm not saying that you don't have to, how should I say it, like...
It's not a guarantee to success. It's not a guaranteed success,
yeah.
You know.
But I mean, I think people should just, you know, do what they want to do, really.
Yeah, it's all about passion. Like, if you have an idea for a business career or something like that, like, go for it. Like, it's a hit or miss, but at least you're going for what you want to do. Because if you're just sitting in class and you're not really absorbing what you're learning, then there's no point in really going. And like, the thing that Hawkwell was talking about earlier, I think it was by Microsoft or someone working in that field. Like, they're giving scholarships like $1 million to a student who has a really good idea and like a prototype. They can talk to them, and then they can go and they're starting their own business with through Microsoft, or I forgot which company it was. But I think more people out there should be doing that, like helping children. I mean, like the kids that have ideas that could be pursued and potentially blow up into something like much bigger.
So in closing, is there any last minute things you'd like to say to the viewers throughout the galaxy about this or any subject?
Dodo.
Last minute words?
I think 2D is better than 3D.
Okay. Demons aren't always what they crack out to be, okay?
So, in closing, this is Jarvan from the Predatory Lending Network talking to you.